But then, obviously they're likely to give Finn to G2. They could grab the Idris, however.
I want to talk a little bit about this Grace pick, because speaking to D'Enzio after the finals at the championship, he was saying that one of their biggest flaws in draft was going with this Celeste into a Grace. How much of a counter pick do we feel like this Grace is? Is that a significant enough thing to say that Fnatic are winning the draft right
I mean, what's so great about Grace is when you max her A, the range on it increases and becomes such a great initiating tool that when Celeste is trying to poke, you can just engage on her. That's what's so great about Grace. On top of that, the fact that she has so much healing, she can sustain her carries throughout the team fight as they're trying to kill Celeste. So it's a huge pick, especially since also it can apply a little bit of early pressure if she goes into the jungle with her mobility. But it's not all about her. Cruel gets picked up. This is a strong comp, but Fnatic hasn't picked up their carry first, and they're trying to just not predict what, instead counter what G2 are going to be able to pick up here as their last two characters or heroes.
I would heavily expect to see a Catherine come out from the side of G2. Catherine is really good into the Grace, and then adding the Baptiste as another form of CC. Having three heroes that can all provide crowd control is so strong against Grace, because Grace, if she gets crowd controlled out of her ultimate, all of a sudden that big heal isn't coming through, and like the whole purpose of having a Grace is kind of gone. So this could be a very difficult game for Net2Let here because of the composition that G2 have drafted.
I don't like the Baptiste pick from G2 just because it makes them double CP, unless he's going to go weapon power Baptiste. The reason why I say that is because once Cruel stacks his defense, he can become unkillable late game because he has to only build shield against this composition. I wish they had picked up Glaive. It serves the same purpose with multiple CC, the Glaive afterburns chained into a Catherine stun, and it would have given you a little bit of diversity when it comes to your damage output. But they do go for the Baptiste. Gwen comes out from Fnatic. That's a character that's going to be able to dodge CC with her skedaddle, but there is so much CC coming from the side of G2. I don't think it's going to work out too great. What's going to end up happening is G2 going to be able to use their range advantage to win team fights later on, while Fnatic again going to have to get ahead mid-game. And it's a strategy that Fnatic hasn't done well, not this weekend, not last weekend. I don't know why they keep going back to it.
Honestly, I find it interesting as well that we may well have double CP versus double weapon power coming on in here with the Cruel and the Gwen. What do we make of that one?
We could actually end up seeing a Crystal Power Gwen. We saw it, I think, once last season, but it was, if I recall correctly, I could be wrong on this one, but it was into a Baptiste, and the range and the burst that Gwen was able to put out. One of the big strengths of a Baptiste is his ability to kite and sustain. Gwen doesn't let him kite. Gwen just says, you know what? I'm just going to blow you up with a huge chunk of damage and then rinse and repeat. So I think the Gwen pick could work out here, but like Zora was saying, it's a very risky composition for Fnatic.
Well, we'll see if they can pull it off. Their backs are against the ropes already. It's 1-0 to G2 so far, and we'll see whether they can turn that into a 2-0 or if Fnatic are pushing this to 3 games. Hashtag Vainglory8 to let us know whether you're supporting G2 or Fnatic coming on into this one. But it's just about time to get on into our second game of this series. It's time to pass it back to our casters and get onto the fold.
It's the double D, down C Denominate, the double CP for the side of G2 and the double weapon power for the side of Fnatic. Lots of doubles happening here, Denominate. Talk me through it.
Well, I think the double CP on the side of G2 can be a huge threat, just because when Celeste gets to that late game point, she just really doesn't care about shield that you've built. So that is a huge spike of damage that Celeste will be able to put out. On the other hand, though, obviously Gwen, all about that early and mid-game spike potential, can really put a lot of hurt down onto Hundor on the Celeste, especially with that skedaddle. So you're able to avoid some CC built into your kit, so saving a reflex block.
Ooh, look at that. Hundor able to secure the little sentry for the side of G2, and it is going to be everyone rotating up. Net2Let forced to backport as well. Picks up a Dragon Blood contract. That's exciting. Grace now going to have a lot of burst potential.
Yeah, obviously going to be looking for that early aggression, getting that bonus damage out of the captain, especially on a Grace who has a lot of potential to stick onto an enemy target, both with the Benediction and then obviously just her natural movement speed, especially with the boots. Down to the Koa trying to stack up early here, and this is really smart out of the Catherine right now.
Now, I guess there's a potential that Techno JJ goes Crystal Power Gwen. Typically very good into double mages. I have to see if that's a possibility. The other potential, I think, is win early game very heavy. Fnatic, though, with Nettolet falling, got his first blood going to G2, and that's a strong early game for the side of G2. I don't think that's what Fnatic want at all.
It's definitely not what they want, but the chain CC potential that we have out of the side of G2, obviously we have that Merciless Pursuit, the Core Collapse, the Ordained. Eventually we'll have that Fearsome Shade, which if you use it against an enemy up against a wall, it acts very similarly to a stun, because they will not be running away from you. So that is another thing that Dark Potato has available in his kit. But now, another stack of Captain of the Guard found onto Palmatoro. Getting Catherine tanked up in this early game is really smart, because if your captain gets poked out by the huge amount of damage that Gwen is going to be able to output, it's going to result in the rest of the fight going very poorly for you. So this game is going to come down to how coordinated G2 can put together their chain CC here. And here it is right here in the lane.
Yeah, Nettolet in a lot of trouble here. He's going to get Core Collapse and taken on down by Hundor. And we have a quick look at the items. You see Techno JJ working towards that tension bow. Not going to be that crystal-powered Gwen. Going to be the double weapon power composition. And this is fantastic from Fnatic if, and this is the win condition, they win in the early game. Right now, due to the heavy amount of CC G2 have for themselves, they are trapping Fnatic, and Nettolet's becoming the butt of a joke for G2. I think Fnatic going to have to be super cautious moving forward in the next maybe 5 minutes, or else they may just give enough gold over to G2 that they don't win early game and G2 is able to scale.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility, as Dark Potato is taking a lot of damage from Palmatoro down here.
Yeah, rotates comes through for Hundor. Palmatoro going to be in a bit of trouble. Good. Holy Nova comes out, and that's going to be that Treant going over to Palmatoro to give him the healing he needs. Auto attack stacking up. Kiana another stun. This should be Palmatoro foring, and then second kill to Hundor. But G2 continuing to move forward. Techno JJ gets stunned up. A lot of damage going out from Dark Potato, the bad mojo going through. G2, fantastic team coordination. Have to be careful under the turret though. Is going to be the turret taking a little bit of damage, but as does G2, and they will have to fall back.
Yeah, and one of the nice things is we do have a lot of crowd control on both sides. The downfall for Fnatic is obviously that Aces High and From Hell's Heart are directional, and they do have distance to travel, so that's going to provide a lot of opportunity for Kiana Nakoa to either block those windups or at least intercept them for his team, because if Hundor and Dark Potato are allowed to go through the fight and ramp up their damage, obviously we'll eventually get a broken myth out of both of them since they are going double crystal power. There's a big safety net for them because of just how tanky Catherine is going to get. And that's something I touched base on earlier, is Kiana Nakoa has to get these stacks built up if they want to succeed in this game. Oh no!
Palmatoro, he is bursted so quickly. That CC from Palmatoro cannot afford to let it hit you. Reflex block's going to have to be built up. Very quick Shutter Glass comes out of Dark Potato. That's good timing. Should be just enough to keep Fnatic at bay. In fact, moving forward, they may even look for Nettolet here. Not going to go too deep. They recognize that Palmatoro is on their Crystal Sentry and they have to stop him from taking it. Going to be a collapse from both sides. Palmatoro looking for the exit route, gets stunned up. Core collapse, CC train on route, and Palmatoro will get deleted.
Yeah, they actually killed him before any of the CC wore off there, because just the focus damage coming out of Dark Potato and Hundor against somebody who has very light amount of shield. This is a Shatter Glass, and then a Hundor on Dark Potato, and then Hundor working in his second offensive item. For Kroll to live on that front line without Grace there, he has to get some shield built up. Now, obviously, as Nettolet gets the Echo and the Divine Intervention online, there is a lot of additional sustain that he can provide, but with the range of Celeste as she is getting closer and closer to level 8, we do have, obviously, Techno JJ, very squishy Gwen on the backline, very likely to end up being the target for those Divine Interventions.
Kiana moves forward, finds Nettolet. He's going to jump in for the damage reduction. 3-man Holy Nova, but a huge Supernova comes through and takes him on out. Dark Potato fearing Palmatoro away, keeps himself alive. Techno JJ lurking. Tension Bow ready to be procced, but G2 moving in for this turret. That's going to be skedaddle to escape ordained, but this turret very likely to fall here. Supernova Heliogenesis, they're committing to it. Maybe not too hard, as Dark Potato will use his boots to escape, but that turret just sitting on a glimmer of HP has to be under 100. G2 know that the next time they visit it, it's going down.
Yeah, it's going to go down the next time they come into lane. Even one Heliogenesis Supernova would be enough, but oh no!
Palmatoro finds that stun, finds the kill. Good night, Dark Potato. Still no reflex blocks. I guess it's the hard thing when you go up against a double weapon power composition is knowing that if you build reflex block, it's almost a wasted item slot because you can't build armor, and you really want to be building armor, but against CC you need it. Very difficult decision to be made. Is going to be reflex finally purchased for Dark Potato. There's that Heliogenesis crashing on the turret. Turret goes down. Hundor very close to death. Be able to get away for now. The healing flask keeping himself alive. G2 moving on in. A stun onto NetTolet. A Solar Storm ripping through. Can the Bad Mojo connect? Oh, it does, but it's not enough. It's all on Yuki and Nakoa. Chase them. But he won't. He'll run into Palmatoro, but he won't find the kill. NetTolet gonna escape.
Yeah, and that's like getting very close to level 6 where that Divine Intervention is going to be online. And like you talked about it, we don't really have any blocks out of G2 yet, which is just all the more reason that Kiana Nakoa needs to be on that front line.
Gosh. CC train, CC lock. Good night, Palmatoro. That was looking like it could have been a risky fight for G2. Just the way it started off with Techno JJ. Lurky and Hundor rooted up in the tree and starting up this Crystal Sentry. Techno JJ gets stunned, blocks the Merciless Pursuit, but a Fearsome Shade will connect, fearing him away. NetTolet able to block it himself, meaning that Holy Nova goes off, and Techno JJ escapes. Gold Miner, half HP, Techno JJ lurking. NetTolet provides distraction. Techno JJ has to move in, moves in towards, but Hundor pretty happy to fight him off. Here comes Palmatoro. He has that ultimate up, he has the stun, he's moving in for the steal. G2 have overcommitted, they have to escape. It's going to be Kiana Nakoa stunned up and taken on out. Divine Intervention keeps Palmatoro alive, and Fnatic able to steal the gold miner.
Yeah, and that's a huge ray of light for Fnatic there. It just took a little bit too long for G2 to take down that gold mine because of the threat that Techno JJ and NetTolet provided. And now they may be looking to get some damage down on this turret. Don't think they'll have enough to take it, but they can definitely get some poke down. They might just stay to take it, Dowsy, and this is risky.
Yeah, the turret does go down, but how much are they going to lose for its silence? That's going to be NetTolet going down first and foremost. Can G2 chase further is the question. Kiana Nakoa very quick when he pops his boots in the Merciless Pursuit, but doesn't have the boots up just yet. Does have that Merciless Pursuit ready to go. But I think Fnatic have walked far enough away. Now G2 going to start up on this second turret. Palmatoro and Techno JJ trying to provide threat. The turret doing damage to the members of G2. They haven't dropped the aggro yet. Going to be a burst of damage from a Supernova. Just about it.
Yeah, but it brings that turret down to almost half health off of just getting one kill onto NetTolet. And it really shows the amount of power that Hundor brings to the table. He's level 9. He has the overdrive on those Heliogenesis. The additional range allows him some additional safety, which doesn't mean, or means that Celeste doesn't have to commit as much into defense as long as she is staying behind Dark Potato and Kiana Nakoa. Again, the crowd control coming out of the side of Fnatic is all directional, and as you get further away, it does get harder and harder to hit. So obviously, Hundor using positioning as his defense here has finally picked up a reflex block just in case. So we are working into that defense now. Kiana Nakoa has picked up the Atlas Pauldron, looking to get that down. Maybe find one onto Techno JJ and Palmatoro, but that is going to be difficult knowing that Krull is going to want to dive and Gwen is going to want to poke around that backline. So this next fight should be interesting. We do have level advantage for the side of G2, Dowsy, and a pretty sizable range advantage as well.
Yeah, but Fnatic still looking in for this fight. Palmatoro trying to find an entry. Dark Potato stunned. Kiana Nakoa able to block up the From Hell's Heart. Fearsome Shade goes out. Pushes NetTolet away. Techno JJ, Palmatoro looking for a kill, but they're stunned up. Rooted on the front line. Palmatoro goes back on in. Dark Potato, is he dead? Kiana Nakoa is trying to find the kill onto NetTolet. It's a split fight across the map, but Palmatoro the first to die. And now Fnatic have to run because Kiana Nakoa is on top of them. Techno JJ trying to find the kill, but he cannot. goes down, and it is going to be Netelet running for his life. Should be able to escape G2 to take a gold mine.
Yeah, this gold mine should be pretty uncontested. Netelet is so low, it's super risky of him to try to come in here and get this steal down. And unfortunately,
anyway, almost gets it, but he's going to lose his life.
Gonna lose his life.
The ace buff was never at risk.
Yeah, unfortunately for the side of Fnatic, though, they did have two members infused during that last fight, as well as G2. But when you lose out a fight and you've committed that gold to infusion, and we see it here, Dark Potato drops very, very low, but fortunately Hundor is able to force the opposition back, gets a good stun down onto Palmatoro. Not getting any use out of that infusion there, doesn't quite find the kill, and then G2 turns their attention onto the rest of the members of Fnatic. They do find a kill, they find a gold mine, and eventually find a Netelet as well.
Good stuff coming out of G2. Now picture this. Of course, Aegises have been prioritized from the side of Fnatic. You can see that Palmatoro has one, TechnoJJ has one. Palmatoro might even go for a double Aegis at this point, or turn that into a Crucible. Lots of CC available for G2, so the Crucible could come out. There is no Broken Myth or Piercing on the side of G2. Well, I guess now there is. Hundor has a Piercing Shard for himself, but that is it. Dark Potato has nothing.
Yeah, they'll both likely work into a Broken Myth very soon here. I think Dark Potato is going to go for the Halcyon Chargers first, just to get that additional cooldown and movement speed. But overall, you're right, there's not a lot of piercing yet, so the shielding is actually doing a lot of work for the side of Fnatic right now. But as Hundor gets that Broken Myth online, and as Dark Potato gets into that piercing shard of his own, that is going to change very quickly. Obviously, Baptiste, not quite as necessary to have as much piercing early because of your heroic perk. Obviously, stacking up those soul shards for your Reap, and then getting that bonus crystal power does help you deal with the shield. Without having to commit too much into going into that piercing shard. All the infusions now on the map have run out, though.
Yeah, no, that's important because everyone has to refresh before the next fight comes out. TechnoJJ has one in his inventory, in fact pops it, Breaking Point picked up as well. I'm going to throw out a play-by-play prediction. Dark Potato, not going towards Halcyon Chargers, going towards Echo, and G2, in true G2 fashion, going to rely on a hyper carry Hundor. Let's see what happens. Is Netelet getting stunned, Palmatoro charging on in, Hundor blocking up. Now that he has to fight, great Fisham Shade comes out. There's the blast from, they're all silent. This is destruction. G2 taking down Fnatic. Netelet last man standing, but not for long. A double kill for Hundor, and they just destroy Fnatic.
Yeah, not quite at a Kraken yet, but it will be up very soon. And G2 is actually going to get a gold mine off the back of that ace as well. So overall, really good fight out of G2. As we see, Palmatoro dives in, going for Hundor. The From Hell's Heart did get blocked, though. Now, there wasn't quite enough damage that came through on Hundor. Just a sliver of health is going to help him survive. And then as Netelet drops, that is a clean ace going over to G2. They don't lose out on anything. They pick up a turret, they pick up a gold mine, and now they're just keeping the aggression up, Dowsy, forcing the side of Fnatic back.
I was right. Play-by-play predictions worked. Dark Potato did get the Echo. How do you block something, Denominate, if there's too many things to block? That's G2's composition, and just rely on Hundor to get stacked up on his Broken Myth. You saw in the last fight, the first Blast Tremor was blocked, but of course the Fearsome Shade wasn't, the second Blast Tremor wasn't. Fnatic just couldn't do anything.
Yeah, definitely a scary composition to go into. Even the double crystal power really hasn't shown any signs of fatigue on their damage yet. And, you know, you did call it out, the Echo is a good choice as well, but here we go.
Hundor's in a lot of trouble. Kiana Nakoa does get stunned. Fearsome Shade gets stunned by an Ace's High, but Palmatoro's dead. No, he's not. Divine Dimension keeps him alive. Hundor dead. They've turned the fight. G2 have fallen. And Kiana Nakoa will go down for a double kill. The Ace comes through at 16 minutes. Fnatic able to find 3. They're going to take a lot off the board.
Yeah, it was a really good time for Fnatic to find a fight. The Kraken is on the board, and obviously with a Kroll, he can start that up by himself without putting himself at any danger. They'll take a turret and then likely turn their attention to cleaning up that additional objective. And this could be a really good push. As we get into this replay, we will see that a From Hell's Heart stunned up Kiana Nakoa, and Hundor got taken down so quickly. The Fountain was forced so early on in that fight. Palmatoro lives because of the Divine Intervention, is able to find a kill onto Dark Potato. As we get back into the game, though, the Kraken steal just barely missed by Hundor. It was so close, Dowsey, so close.
I thought it was coming out. I genuinely thought that Kraken was going over, but it does not. Now Fnatic has the beast on the Halcyon Fold. They've taken down 2 turrets. Choke point turret remains. A strong place for Celeste to fight and stack up that broken myth. So much CC still available for G2 as well. Gonna have to use it this time. Not get stunned up. Great stuns came out from both Netelet and Techno JJ onto Dark Potato and Kiana Nakoa. This Kraken's already at half HP! And a great stun onto Techno JJ down to half HP. Right now G2 just focusing on this turret whilst Palmatoro's in the middle of it all, is able to escape. Only just gives broken myth stacks to Hundor, which will help this Kraken go down even quicker. It's not even gonna fall this turret, they've taken it down before it finds the choke point. They get literally nothing, and G2 get an infusion of 1500.
Yeah, they absolutely do, and that's not what you want out of a Kraken push. So unfortunately, Fnatic now has just, like you mentioned, shoveled some gold over into G2's pocket, enough to let them all re-infuse. But one thing I do want to make note of is Techno JJ has gone into the War Treads for his Boots Tier 3. I am interested to see now going forward if he goes into a 4th offensive item. I think with that Minion's Foot picked up, it is confirmed. So obviously that just now happening. Palmatoro, Tenshabo, Breaking Point, Crucible complete. Gonna try to help the team block out some of that, massive amount of crowd control. But, I'm counting, 2 Blast Tremors, 2 Fearsome Shades, a Core Collapse. That's going to be difficult for any team to deal with, and that's what's so difficult about giving over this Baptiste and Catherine combination.
Not only that, Hundor has a Crucible for his team as well, so can block up other things. Another fight breaking out, Fnatic moving on in, but the Fearsome Shade gonna put Palmatoro into a stun. Here comes the second and forces Netelet away. Oh dear, the CC too strong. It's only Techno JJ left alive, and he's stunned up by Kiana Nakoa. Techno JJ on Gwen looking to escape, but the Ordained comes out and he turns to face his fate. An ace for G2. They're gonna move towards their choke point turret.
Yeah, they should be able to clean that choke point turret up in a matter of seconds as Hundor just absolutely blows up objectives. In that last fight, Palmatoro just went a little too far, became susceptible to all of that CC, and then a good merciless pursuit came out of the Kiana Nakoa, helped them find Techno JJ for that ace. There's no Kraken for them to take at this point in time, so they will only get 1 turret off that push. And yeah, it looks like they're going to go for the Crystal Sentry as well. And at 20 minutes in, taking a single life off the Crystal Sentry is you're a little bit behind on the objective control there.
Yeah, it would have been perhaps risky to overextend for a turret, so G2 going to do as E2 does and play safe. Move back, Ordain onto net, Palmatoro lurking in the side bush. Great block comes out with the Crucible, but Hundor taking a lot of damage, down very low. Bounces out to keep him alive, turning to fight, Fearsome Shade. Solar Storm flies out, Palmatoro almost dead, but gets the hill, stunned still, dead. Outright. Fnatic with Techno JJ, Netelet gonna start walking away, but G2 feel they can take the fight. May just turn for the Kraken instead.
Yeah, and this has just been the story of every fight, is Hundor gets dropped so low from the amount of burst that Fnatic has, but then it just ends up being Palmatoro getting locked up a little too far in. Techno JJ is not able to follow up any additional damage. And as this Kraken gets started up, Fnatic knows what's going on here.
Oh, that was so close. The Fearsome Shade just about stops them, and oh no, Netelet's dead. Not what you want when the Kraken spawns. That's a 50-second death timer.
Yeah, not a good position to be in, and now Techno JJ is getting chased down. Palmatoro is up, so no ace.
He's dead! This is destruction! This is disastrous! Palmatoro last man standing means literally nothing at this point. G2 takes game 1, moving in for game 2 as well as Denominate, and Palmatoro literally can't do anything about it. Stunned up, locked up, just destroyed by the CC from G2. The ace will come through, and G2 showing double CP trumps double weapon power in this European matchup.
Yeah, Yeah, G2 didn't look all that strong last season, but I know they've had some team things that they've fixed as far as the practice going, and it has really shown. They came through on top 2 games today against Fnatic, who looked so good last season and last weekend. So Dowsy, that is it for our first series. A good showing out of G2 today.
Fantastic showing out of G2, and so many things to talk about. Just looking at that item screen, it is very, very unique. So let's throw it back to our desk.